Hi, my name's Tony Nordine, CEO of Blue Painting. And today on Tea Time with Tony, I have Travis Metzen of Metzen Realty and Associates. And we're going to talk about real estate, virtual reality, ice fishing, and riding a bull. All four. So today on Tea Time with Tony, who we have on the show today is Travis Metzen of Metzen Realty. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Why don't you just give a little background, quick synopsis on who Travis is.
Well, I am Travis Metzen, owner, broker of Metzen Realty and Associates. We're a small boutique brokerage located in South St. Paul. That's the short about me. I mean, there's more details we can go into, too.
We'll get into. So first, let's start. How did you get into real estate?
Well, it's been a family business. A little bit about the company is my great-grandfather started the company in 1948, and my grandpa had ran it up until about, 6-7 years ago. I've been in the industry for about 10 years. Kind of just like everyone else, I flirted with community college, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and then I just decided to give it a shot, and I really enjoyed it.
What did you go to college for?
I wanted to get some sort of business degree. I always felt that I enjoyed just kind of a salesperson aspect. I like the drive that it gives me, I guess.
Selling things.
Yeah, selling things. I enjoy that. So.
Did you do any sales before real estate?
I did not. No.
You didn't. You just liked it.
Yeah, I just felt that. It could be fun. I bought my first house when I was 19, and I kind of saw the process through using my grandpa's company, and I thought, hey, seems like a kind of a fun job. Let's give it a shot.
When did your grandpa start it?
Well, it was actually my great-grandpa.
Your great-grandpa.
He started it in 1948,
Okay.
and then my grandpa had taken it over. I'm not sure the exact year, but his father had passed at a pretty young age, so he was the oldest boy in the family and had to kind of take the reins and provide. So he had taken over the business and then ran it up until he passed away.
And then you took it.
Yep, and then I had went back and got my broker's license.
Oh, cool.
So.
Were you working for him before you took it over?
I was. So I was there probably about 5-6 years before I had went back to get my broker's license.
Okay. So your great grandpa started it. Did you guys stay in the same location? Like where's it located?
Yeah, we're in South St. Paul, so they have moved around. I think we're technically in our third location now. So I'm not sure where the original was, and then we had a location on Marie Avenue in South St. Paul. We've always been in South St. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had moved to Southview Boulevard, where we still currently are, and actually had purchased the building in October. So plans are to be there for a long time.
You said, what year exactly did it start?
1948.
48, wow.
Yep. Yeah, so we've been around for
Jesus. That's almost
a while.
Over 60 years.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Do you guys have a lot of agents working for you?
We don't. So we believe in more of quality versus quantity. We're a boutique brokerage. So we have 6 agents in total currently.
Okay.
I would like to grow to a few more agents, but I also feel, like I said, quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be able to give each one of my agents the attention that they deserve and help them navigate, because realistically, when you start in real estate, I'll be transparent. Getting your license is probably the easiest thing about it. But then when you get into the industry, actually learning on the correct way to handle things. So I like to be there for my new agents to do that. Some larger companies, they just don't have the time to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They're just have hundreds of agents, and they only have, a few people willing to teach somebody.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That makes total sense. So you said 6 agents, 5?
Correct.
6?
So 6 including me
Including you.
and my wife. So.
Okay, cool. Any other family members in there?
No.
So you took it over and you're just running it.
Yeah, so when I had actually taken over, we were kind of on the downswing. It was myself and one other guy, Larry. He's been there for, over 40 years now. So he's been.
Oh wow.
He's probably edging on retirement. And don't kill me, Larry, if you watch this. But we love having him around. But it was really just himself and then me. My grandpa didn't ever really practice in selling real estate. He was just a broker, which is pretty common. They more see the day-to-day operations, things like that. But so yeah, there were only 2 agents when I started, and I've grown it to 6. And
How long ago was that when you started?
I
You
started.
probably already said it, but
I've been in the business for 9 years, going on my 10th year total.
oh, okay, wow. So wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, so when I was 20 is when I started.
Yeah, that's
Bought my
really
first
cool.
house when I was 19. I saw how fun real estate could be. It was a completely different market back then. It was more of a buyer's market.
Yeah.
So it's it was different, but it was interesting. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, so I was kind of trying to figure that out, and it was appealing not having per se a boss. Every agent is a 1099 employee. They essentially create their own schedules, things like that, but that can also be misleading because we work for our clients, so
Yep.
we're really working on their schedules. I work a lot of nights, a lot of weekends, but it's just how it is. So.
Yeah, I know. I like to say, like, when people say, like, you start a business and you don't have a boss, really what happens is you start a business and all your employees and your customers end up being your boss.
Absolutely. That's part of it. You got to go above and beyond, especially being a small business, as you gotta earn that trust and that respect and that reputation. So if you're not picking up your phone, that's not going to get you very far.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, for sure. So what was it like taking over the family business?
Interesting. I guess I wasn't necessarily ready. I was ready, but I wasn't ready. My grandpa had got sick with cancer, so I shouldn't say luckily, but we were able to plan ahead. With that being said, each real estate brokerage has to have a broker to hold the licensees' licenses. So
Yep.
I knew that we needed a broker, otherwise we can't continue to operate. And if he were to pass all of a sudden, I believe you have like 90 days for someone to go back, to the school, finish the schooling, and then also test. So with him being sick, we knew that I had to essentially make a decision if I wanted to move forward and continue doing this, or the company probably would have shut down.
Wow.
So I went back to school, got my broker's license, and just kind of went full on. I'm 100% self-employed, commission-based business, so it's interesting.
That must have been a tough time. Grandpa's sick, and
yeah, it's never easy losing a family member. It's always difficult, but yeah, it's
adding business in is
that was even tougher, I would say.
Yeah. Cool. What's the hardest part about being a broker, would you say?
Time management, I guess I would say. Because it's not only I still actively help people buy and sell real estate, but on top of it, I have the managerial aspect of it where I have to keep the day-to-day stuff going on too. So it's just finding enough time, and then I have 2 kids that are my son's he's 24 months old, or 26 months old, excuse me, and my daughter was born on Halloween, so we have our hands full there too.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah. What do you do for time management? Like, do you have any, like, you must have learned some stuff over the years.
yeah, setting schedules are important to me. Like, my Google Calendar is my best friend, honestly.
Me too.
So I can, every night I pull it up, like, okay, tomorrow this is what I have going on. So that's nice. And then, honestly, my wife being a rock star, she helps with the business aspect, but she also, helps pull the weight where I have to leave for work. Say I have to go show a house at dinner time. She's understanding of it because she's also in the industry.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it must have been a crazy year. The last 2 years have probably been insane for you.
Yeah, crazy, but good. I mean, honestly, we've had we continuously are growing. I mean, and not just for agents, with our brokerage, but we're producing more. So they've been good years, but yeah, hectic to say the least. At sometimes.
What do you think? What do you think the housing market's going to do over the next 6 months, 12 months?
Oh, 6 months, 12 months. It's going to continue on the rate it's going.
problem.
I confidently say that I personally don't think we're in a bubble at all. I understand, yes, prices are very high, but it's more of a supply and demand issue rather than a housing bubble issue. A lot of people are still just feeling that after effects of 2008, 2009, when foreclosures hit and everyone was losing their house left and right and prices plummeted. Well, that was also based on a lot of predatory lending, people that were getting loans that shouldn't get loans. So nowadays, I mean, they need 2 years taxes. They want to see your bank statements, credit reports, stuff like that, to make sure you're a good borrower. They're lending this money to someone that can actually pay them back. Back then, they had the craziest. They had even what were called statement loans. You could go in there with no proof of anything and say you want a loan for X amount and just tell them that you make $100,000 a year or whatever, and they didn't do anything.
They just wanted to give loans.
Yeah, they were just giving money out left and right, and they knew that that was a recipe for disaster. Eventually, all those people couldn't afford, the loans they were getting, so that's why all
the
these
ratings plummeted or whatever on the bonds and stuff, and then
the security-backed mortgages.
Yeah.
So that I think we're in a total different type of market. We just simply don't have the supply for the amount of people that are looking for homes. And then on top of interest rates they've started inching up a little bit, but I mean, they are historically still incredibly low. I mean, you're borrowing money for 3-4%. That's cheap money versus, I've talked to people, if you were to talk to your parents, they probably got an interest rate at like 16, 17, 18% way back when.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So,
that's crazy. What do you think? Do you think there's going to be any correlation with like the hyperinflation in the housing market?
That makes me a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
It's weird.
Because the value of the money is going down so quickly. So I'm not sure if that's going to continue to push prices up because everyone just has more money at their disposal. I got to assume it is going to, but I'm not sure.
Such a weird time.
It is. And that's why I tell people, even though I talk to a lot of clients that say, like you said, the housing market is high, prices are high. Well, what happens in a year or two when they continue to go up? Your dollar is going to be worth a lot less. Why not invest in real estate? They're not making any more of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to put it somewhere. Can't keep it
exactly.
in cash.
Real estate, long term, is one of the safest investments you can make. Sure. Yeah. If you sell in a panic, when there is a downturn, sure, you may lose, but
it always goes up.
Yeah. I look at my first home. It was built in 1956 for about $12,000, and I think now it's worth like $300,000. So if you held on to it for 70 years, you made $290,000. It's not a bad return,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's crazy. Before we get any further, could you get me the tea? We gotta pour this tea up.
Pour it.
And we gotta announce it. So here's the deal: Travis has never drank tea.
I've drank tea. I'm not a fan of it.
He's not a fan of tea, but we force people to drink tea on this show.
Yep.
And then we rate it at the end. Could you also get the
packet?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just need to.
It smells really good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, man. You're gonna.
Let's try it. Let's try it. Cheers.
It smells funny.
Oh, it's hot.
Extremely hot. Okay, we gotta wait a little.
Yeah, I was gonna say burn the tongue a little bit on that one.
Now you're not gonna be able to taste it. So today, what we have here on Tea Time with Tony is it's called Tea Goblin. I'm gonna let you. It's called Tea Goblin. The flavor, I guess it's the luscious lemon. The ingredients are rhubarb, sweet blackberry leaves, almond bits, marigold petals, lemongrass, and then flavor, and then it says contain nuts. So hopefully you're not allergic to nuts.
I'm not.
Okay, good.
Wouldn't you shit if I said I was, though?
Me rushing you off the show.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, once the show finishes, we're gonna rate this. What do you rate them by tea bags?
I think we did cups last time.
Maybe cups. Okay, we'll do
Either
cups.
one.
Sure.
We'll do cups. Okay, cool. So let's keep going. So what's the best part about being a broker?
I can honestly say I love my job because buying or selling real estate, I would say 95% of the time is one of the most enjoyable experiences to help people along with, help them navigate that. But for instance, I just closed on a place a couple days ago, and they were first-time home buyers. A lot of times I deal with people that don't even think that, that goal is obtainable. And then we sit down, we talk, and they realize like, oh, I've been renting an apartment for actually more than my mortgage would be if I were to buy a home. Mm-hmm. And there's always people that think they need a large sum for down payment. That's not necessarily true. There's tons of programs out there to help get people into homes. So I would say just helping people is just my favorite part of the job, seeing their excitement, or on top of it, selling as well. When someone sells and they make $50,000, $100,000, now that doesn't happen every time, but usually that's a substantial amount of money that could change their life potentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
what are some for people who, instead of people who are getting into real estate, we'll talk about that. But what about people who want to just purchase their first home? Like, what types of things do you have available
Oh, man,
for
that-
first-time home buyers?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Yeah,
No.
there's tons of great programs out there. Generally, a lot of first-time home buyers, they will use an FHA loan or conventional loan because they have FHA with 3.5% down or conventional with 3% down of whatever your purchase price is. But there's, for instance, Minnesota Housing. MHFA it's called, which is a down payment assistance program, which would be in the form of a second mortgage. Essentially, they're loaning you that money so you don't have to have it up front. You pay it off either within the first 10 years of your mortgage, or there's another program where you don't have to pay it off until the loan matures.
And that's the down payment?
Yeah, it's a portion of it. So a lot of my clients can get in for, I'd say, $1,500 down, $2,000 down. So that's the 3.5%.
That's the FHA,
Yeah,
right?
MHFA. It can be confusing. So FHA is the loan type. That's the federal backed loan, or there can be a conventional loan, and then you can also get like a grant or a bond program, which is called Minnesota Housing,
That's the
MHFA.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I work with some lenders that have some really cool programs. One of my lenders uses what's called the WISH program, where it's a grant, and you can get granted up to, I think it's $22,000.
Oh,
So
wow.
every dollar you put in, they match it $4. So
Really?
yeah, and
Up
it's,
to 22.
yep, and it's forgivable. It's a grant. The tricky part about that is you have to make sure you do it while they still have the money, because obviously that's a very popular program. If you put, I think it's $5,500 in, you'll have $27,000 towards your down payment, and that's forgivable. But they run out of money fairly quick because it's granted by the state. They
Does
only
it
get
renew
so
each
much.
year?
Yeah, I want to say in April, so it'd be coming up on the renewal, I believe.
Oh, really? So
Yep.
you just want to hop in right in April?
Yeah, and I believe you can reserve those funds if you're out actively looking. I can always connect you to the lender to get you more details, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great program.
That's really interesting. So you can get into a home for pretty cheap.
Yeah, I usually tell people, if you were to rent a house, you need first, last month's rent, and a security deposit. Generally, if you add all those up, that'd be enough for a down payment.
Really?
Yep.
What's right now? What's like one of the markets you're most excited about that you're kind of in?
Well, we love Dakota County. That's just kind of where our roots are. But we're expanding as our businesses grow. We're getting, being that I've been in it for 10 years, I'm starting to get repeat clients that are now, they bought with me years ago. They're selling, and they're kind of doing what we call a step up. They're buying a nicer, bigger home with their proceeds. So we're kind of breaking into more of I don't know if what you'd consider a luxury market, but a higher price point market. So that's fun. I'm excited.
Do you
about
work
that.
with any like real estate investors?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. I deal with. There's tons of different strategies that you can use for real estate investment that a lot of people don't even realize exist.
Lay one on me, dude.
I'm
interested. Not
like-
to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no
but-
problem. Like a 1031 deferred tax exchange. So if you have a piece of real estate and say you don't occupy it for 2 of the last 5 years, you might be subject to pay capital gains tax, which is, I don't know, over 30%. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, over 30%.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's a high number. So instead of having to pay those taxes up front, the IRS allows you to do what's called a 1031 tax exchange. So you can take the proceeds from that property, and as long as you invested in a piece of real estate that is equal or more value, you can defer those taxes until you sell that piece of property. So if you keep doing that, think you start with a single family home. Okay, instead of paying your capital gains, you reinvest that to a duplex. You keep it a few years, do the same thing. Now you buy an apartment complex, and before you know it, you could own multiple complexes and not had to pay tax on those. And sure, when you sell them, whenever you do, you might have to, but you've deferred them for not
Yeah.
having to pay them up front is
And
nice.
if you defer them, the cool thing is with real estate is you can loan against it and you don't pay taxes on loan money.
Correct.
So you can still have cash flow while your money is all tied up in these big properties.
Yep, absolutely.
That's really interesting stuff, man. Let me see what do we got here. Yeah, so let's talk about the aspiring maybe real estate investor. Like, what would you say to? Actually, no. Let's talk about the aspiring agent. Like, what would you say to somebody aspiring to be a real estate agent?
Sure. I would say that this is a relationship business, not a transactional business. That's what a lot of people confuse. They get in the industry, they just want to turn and burn. Obviously, the more transactions, the better, but it's really about building relationships. Don't focus on how many deals you have in the pipeline. Make sure you're nurturing just the people you know. And good mentorship will go a long way. Like I said, unfortunately, you can get with some bigger companies and they might not give you the attention you need. And in real estate, you're dealing with a lot of money, people's livelihood, so you need good direction.
And to be a real estate agent, I think, isn't it you have to be with a broker for a year?
Yeah, so you have to. I believe you have to be. Yeah, you have to be licensed, or so you'd be a licensee. You'd be an agent for, I want to say, 3 years, and then you can go back to school and become a broker.
Oh, I see. That's what it is. Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep.
So people looking to get into it, you look for a company that is focused on mentorship for their licensees or people coming in as an agent. And then as long as you're good with people and like building relationships, you should succeed in it.
I would say so. And don't focus, a lot of agents, and I get it, you're talking about their livelihood, but they focus on their commission splits. How much money are they going to take home? And a lot of them will be quick to jump with these so-called 100%, commission-based brokerages, which I truly don't believe there's such thing, because how would the business survive if they're getting money somehow? But I always say, 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing, because a lot of people are just focused on that bottom dollar. Interview multiple brokers. That's my first piece of advice. I even tell agents that come interview with me, maybe talk with one or two other brokerages, make sure it's a good fit for you, because there's no one size fits all for anyone, is my opinion. Everyone has a little bit different to offer, and there's a lot of great companies out there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. For somebody who comes in and does interview with you, like, what are the things you're looking for in a broker before you hire them?
I want to make sure they're accountable. That's huge, that they're willing to be kind of a team player, because we are a small brokerage. So sometimes if one of the agents on vacation, you might have to pick up the slack for them, and that might not result in you directly getting paid, but they'll also do the same for you. And then someone that's actually going to, like I said, I know we're 1099 self-employed, so there's not necessarily set hours, but you're not going to learn much if you don't actually show up and you're present. So come into the office. We have an office for a reason. You can learn a lot and learn from people that have been doing it for a while.
Do you give leads out or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely.
As part of your brokerage?
Yep.
So you share if people come in looking and give some of the leads to a new agent?
Oh, 100%. Yep. So we have a CRM, client relationship management system, and we have a round robin system set up. So leads.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Say if I sent you a lead and you don't accept it within 15 minutes, well, it might be a hot lead, so we may send it to the next guy.
Oh, that's really cool.
And whoever accepts it, then it goes into their CRM, and they
call
follow up, and that's also part of me being the broker. I don't want to babysit, but I also make sure that these leads are being followed up on. Otherwise, I'm not going to send them to you, because that's how we get paid.
Yep. Do you do any marketing?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You do.
So we do a lot of. Like I said, we've been in South St. Paul for quite some time. So I love sponsoring small baseball teams. The South St. Paul schools, Inver Grove Heights schools. I like spending my marketing dollars that way. Sure, we might get on a T-shirt or something, but at least it's kind of going back to the community. Of course, we run ads to online. Newspaper's not so prevalent. We even had a billboard at one point.
Oh, really?
Yep.
In St. Paul?
South St. Paul. Yep. Right, going over the Wakota Bridge is pretty cool. Yeah.
How much did you pay for that?
Oh man, it was about $2,000 a month.
Oh, okay. And you have to sign a contract, I'm guessing.
Yep, and it was a digital billboard.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get it, permanently. But it was cool also because I could showcase my agents. So we'd have it cycle between, myself,
really
Nate,
cool.
Larry, Maggie.
That's really cool with digital billboards because you can switch them up more often.
Yeah, and literally you could send them a new one that day, and they would put it up for you.
Who is it through?
I think they're called Blue Ox Media. I can get you their information.
Yeah, that'd be
cool. I
cool.
can connect you with the guy.
Be interested in that.
But it's pretty cool. Like they were going into detail on how McDonald's advertises with them, and when it's cold out, they'll run their hot coffee ads or stuff like that. They play on the weather.
Yeah,
essentially.
That's really cool. It's a really good idea. Anything else? What has been your best marketing source?
honestly, it's just word of mouth. I'm not gonna lie. Treating your clients, and usually they become friends, right, goes a long way. They'll tell everyone about you that you did them right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that was like probably the biggest way I've grown my business. And then honestly, free social media tools. I mean, I bet you couldn't find one of my social media friends that doesn't know I'm in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a free tool. Why not utilize it?
Yeah.
Post our page, post some stupid real estate memes, you know.
Mm-hmm. What about, so let's get into some social media stuff. What about that video you guys did?
I don't know if you'd say you guys. Nate was the mastermind behind that. You know, he's naturally talented in that aspect for sure. I mean, as you know, his music background. And then his brother helped with the shooting the video.
Yeah.
And we just kind of, honestly, that video took off. Nate said he knew it was going to be popular. You know, I've never really even shot a music video, so I didn't know, but yeah, it took off. I think we had like over 1 million views on it. And it's funny because we were going to go a completely different route with the video itself, but we couldn't find any people to fill in for the parts that we needed. So we just rolled with it. I'm more of like I said, the Silent Bob character in there. I don't say a single word. I just kind of in the background.
Yeah. It was a really catchy song, and the video was fire. I feel like I've watched it numerous times just for entertainment.
Yeah, the video, and I mean, it blew up. Real estate agents, they're all super, you know, cool, or a lot of them are, and we were getting messages from anywhere from Canada down to Texas. You know, we loved your video, because if you really break down the lyrics, because Nate's good at that, like it all applies to real estate, and it was perfect because the current market that we're in, it really catered to that, you know.
Yeah. So have you gotten leads from it?
Yeah, we definitely have. I don't know if we got a ton of direct leads from that video, but we've definitely got referrals from other agents because
open relationships.
Yep, yeah. So we're meeting, you know, real estate agents all over the country, and you know, when they're looking for someone to help a family member or a friend in Minnesota, they'll reach out to us.
So when was it that it blew up?
It was actually literally about a year ago today. I think. I bet if Bo was to look it up, it was probably.
The crazy thing with viral videos is there's a good chance it continues to blow up.
Sure.
You know, you'll have it blow up once, and then all of a sudden somebody will catch it. It'll end up over here on this person's TikTok, and then it will blow up again.
Sure.
And then it will happen again. Like, I've seen that happen, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I mean, I loved it. It was fun.
Yeah, it is a really good video. Really good. Did you do you ever get noticed on the street?
No, not really. It's funny because, as you can tell if you watch that video, that we're wearing these ridiculous wigs.
I know.
And we had people asking if that was like our real hair. And
I'm
stuff.
sure. Yeah, I know.
So I don't think anyone, at least that I know of, a lot of, you know, my friends saw it and they'd be like, "Oh, we loved your video," but not just random people.
Did you shoot it in a listing?
We actually shot it at Nate's mom's house.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So she just, I don't know if I should have thrown that out there, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, she just had closed on that place, so it was beautiful. I mean, it's still beautiful.
It's a nice house. Yeah.
It worked great.
Cool. Let's hop into some personal stuff. I'm gonna also grab some out of here before I get done with this sheet because there's some funny ones in there.
Sure.
But what do you do when you aren't slanging houses?
Honestly, I'm a homebody. I hang out at home a lot with the kids and the wife. I like being outside too. I like the outdoors. I do a lot of hunting, a lot of fishing. I do a ton of ice fishing. It's my downtime, I guess I would say, in our seasons, and so I get a little bit more freedom to do that. So that's probably one of my favorite hobbies.
How much time do you spend ice fishing?
Oh, every weekend from when the ice is safe enough to last weekend. And then some, you know, not just Friday through Sunday. It could be a Wednesday if I don't have much going on. It all depends.
Are you pretty passionate about ice fishing?
I guess you could say that. I just enjoy it. It's relaxing. It's pretty much camping on the ice.
So I'm going to read my next question word for word here. Convince me that ice fishing is a worthwhile activity.
Okay. Have you ever been ice fishing?
I have a couple times. Not a super big fan.
It's fucking exhilarating. Can you name that movie?
No, I can't.
What is
it?
Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
When the president's on a pike fishing trip.
I don't remember.
Man, you dropped that one.
Well, I don't ice fish, so it wasn't a huge part of the movie.
I guess it's to each their own. You know, I don't know. Once you pull out a 30-inch walleye out of a 8-inch
I
hole,
haven't done that. Yeah, my business partner loves ice fishing.
I think it all is dependent on the success. You know, if you go out there and you don't catch anything, obviously that could be boring. But if you're really getting into them, it can be a good time.
I've gone out with Max a couple times. He's the only one I've gone out with, and really, we'll be eating snacks and then getting a couple nibbles. But I don't think I've ever seen a fish come out at all.
Sure. So there's point in case right there. It'd be boring, yeah. I mean, at that point, you're just hanging out on a frozen
it's
lake.
still fun, but I mean.
Like I said, I do more of a camping style because we have a ice castle. So we do, I have dish TV out there. We can cook pizzas. You can do.
You're just hanging out.
Yeah,
There's just ice
it's
below
literally
you.
camping on the ice. And then on top of it, we have a good group of friends that we go with. So we meet up, and there's usually a little village essentially. So bounce from house to house. The kids will play and
I can
stuff.
see how that'd be extremely fun.
Yeah.
Because it's the ice fishing is an activity and it's fun, but then there's also the surrounded stuff.
Yeah,
that
it's
you
a
guys do.
camaraderie, and winter sucks anyway. So if you're out there with some friends, why not?
What's the biggest fish you've taken out of that?
I caught a 30-inch walleye up at Lake of the Woods a year ago or so. Just got it back from the taxidermist.
That's a huge lake.
Yeah, that's literally at the Canada border. So if
Does
you go
it
too
freeze?
far,
It freezes?
oh yeah, I was actually
Isn't it
just up there.
It's a huge lake, right?
Yeah, I was up there last weekend, but you got to keep in mind it's a lot colder than it is here.
Yeah.
So I think they had 40 inches of ice. So we need an extension for our auger just to get
Oh
through.
wow.
Yeah.
So it freezes.
Yeah, there's
Really
plenty of
freezes.
ice up there for sure.
That's crazy. And those fish just stay under the water, just waiting to get caught. What
Well,
do they do?
I
They
mean,
just-
what are they going to do? Hop out and say I'm good for the winter? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, they're hungry,
I remember I worked with a guy who thought that when the water froze, that the fish froze with it, and then they just thaw out.
Sure.
I'm just like, what?
I don't think that's how it works. No.
No, there's definitely water under there. Yeah, that's interesting. It's just an interesting activity. I don't have anything against it. I just thought it was funny because Bo wrote this on here.
Yeah.
So let's hop some out of here and then I have some
Okay.
other questions on here. I like these because they're just random.
Sure.
I'll let you pick one here after this. Okay, yeah. What's it like taking over a business that's already started?
I guess on the appearance, it could have been awesome. You feel like you're inheriting, a business. It sounds great on the surface, but there's a lot more that went into it. Just because we do things a little differently than my grandpa did. However many years ago when he did it.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a small business per se. It was myself and one other guy at that time. So, I don't
Did
know.
you implement the CRM or was that already implemented?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was
So
gonna
we
say.
had no online presence when I started.
Oh,
Yeah, we
wow.
didn't have any Facebook page, anything.
Did you change the logo at all?
Yeah, we
So
rebranded.
you rebranded, yeah, because
completely.
I've seen the
Yep.
brand and I
Yeah,
like
so
it.
we used to be a really dull red and yellow. I didn't care for it, so we completely redesigned and rebranded.
Oh, that's cool. So it must have been fun, kind of a little creative project.
Yeah, I liked it.
Taking over, rebranding, getting an online presence, making a viral video.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
And technically, I mean, I essentially actually started I started a new brokerage just because of record keeping, stuff like that has to be done correctly. So I didn't want to, get in any trouble, I guess, if something wasn't done correctly
Yeah.
before I had taken it over.
Oh, that makes
So
sense.
technically, yeah, we were Metzen Realty. Now we're Metzen Realty and Associates.
I see.
So-
Oh, that's really cool.
But in the eyes of the state, it's a different company.
Yeah, that's cool though. So you took it over, and there wasn't a ton of infrastructure already in place, anyways.
No,
so.
we were fortunate enough to have the office equipment that was awesome, and then the building itself. But we were renting.
You guys own the building? Oh no, you were renting.
I was renting at the time. I
You own
purchased it
now.
in October.
Yeah, I think Nate had said something about that. So you guys have a building in? Do you own or do you take up the whole building?
Not currently. So we have the top floor and the main floor, and the basement's actually rented out.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
Is it a pretty big building?
Yeah, I would say it's probably 1,500 square feet of floor. So.
Oh, okay. What is it? Compared to this building, just this side of the building? I'm
I
just
would say
curious.
it's probably this is only 2 stories, right?
Yep.
I'd say it's maybe half of this building, but with an extra story.
Oh, okay. That'd be really cool. So it's our side, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop by whenever. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
I
there.
definitely will. Do you guys are there a lot of office people in there, or do you guys come and go?
Yeah, with our industry, it's just kind of open to whoever. Everyone has a key when they need to go
Yep.
there. They do, but usually every day I'm there Monday through Friday, just in case somebody needs anything. Nate's usually there. Larry's there every day. So.
Do you guys have dedicated office space or?
Yeah, we have our own offices.
Okay.
So actually, we were just fortunate enough. Nate and myself, we we got a hold of a bunch of free desks that were in great shape. So we spent, Wednesday moving desks and rented a U-Haul and stuff. So now he got a new desk, and because we were actually only on the main floor, and there was an attorney that was on the top floor, and there was an attorney on the main floor, and he had retired, and that's who I bought the building from. So we're migrating down to the main floor, but we just finally renovated the top floor, so it's nice and it feels a lot more modern, I guess I would say.
That's pretty cool as hell.
Yeah, but the basement needs the main floor needs some love still, so I want to do that kind of before we get settled.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's cool. So you guys, I'm guessing you went on Craigslist and found somebody that had a bunch of office.
No, actually there's a building that is in South St. Paul that's going to be demoed essentially, and they left all their office equipment. So the guy that's doing the demo said, if you want them, you can have them. If not, they're going to a dump. And they were all in really good shape.
That's really cool. I feel like that's the hack when you find somebody
it was
getting rid of their whole
you don't get
office.
much for free nowadays.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, let's hop into. I'm not gonna ask all these, but actually, I was gonna let you.
You want me to grab one?
Yeah.
All right, we'll grab this one.
Make it more random. Here, I'll ask it. Don't ask yourself. Do you read? And then I have a follow-up. I just want to, before I ask this, do you read books?
Not a lot of novels, no.
Not novels, but do you read anything, like any self-help books or anything like that?
I most of what I read is online, honestly.
Online.
It's usually
Okay.
real estate geared when I do have time.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask it anyways. What is a book that you've read that has had a major impact on your life? Or it doesn't have to be a book, but just is there...
I'd say Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's a good... I know everyone's really read that, but...
It's a really good book.
Yeah, it was an interesting take on, how
it
to
kind of
approach
changes
life.
how you think about cash flow. And
Absolutely.
I liked it a lot. It was interesting. Me and my business partner read that like 7 years ago, and played that. I actually downloaded the cash flow game or whatever.
Sure.
It's like a board game.
Yeah, the game that he made for his students or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what are you passionate about?
Real estate. No, I know that's kind of a generic question. Honestly, I'm passionate about helping people achieving things that they really didn't think was going to be possible.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. So having agents, is it awesome bringing somebody in who has never, even Nate, he came to you, he had never done real estate.
Yeah, he was green. He got licensed, then he interviewed me and a few other brokerages, and we were lucky enough to connect, and he felt it was a good fit, and I couldn't be more thankful. The guy is awesome. He learns quick too, so I'm not teaching him a lot like I used to when he first started, but he's just a go-getter too. So
yeah, he works hard when he's passionate. I feel like he's a really hard worker.
Yeah, and you can see the joy that he gets from helping people.
Yeah, that's really cool. Were you friends with him before?
We were friends, but we didn't really know each other. You know what I mean? Like very well, I guess I would say.
Yeah, that's cool. Would you say you're an introvert or an extrovert?
I'd probably say I'm an extrovert. My wife always says every time we go to get dinner, I see like 10 people I know, and I always just go off having conversations with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny because I'm an introvert. So
really?
like, if I see 10 people I know, I'm hiding.
Yeah, you're putting up the
I'm
menu.
like, let's get out of here.
No, I was like, "What's up, man? I haven't seen you in forever," and then I forget that my family's over there and the food's getting cold. You know what I mean?
That's cool. That probably helps a lot for selling real estate.
Definitely, being an introvert, it can be done, but it's tricky. I mean, because realistically, I'm trying to create business out of nothing. You know what I mean? And that results in meeting people that you don't know.
Yeah. It's probably pretty cool being an extrovert, like being able to like stir up conversations with people randomly. Like I stir away, or like I hide away from that like so much that I like miss out, I'm sure, on a lot of genuine conversations.
Oh, and that's the other thing is I like to hear people's stories because like everyone's lived a different life, so like everyone has their own story to be told. So
that's really cool.
It's easy to find a connection with most people in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like and I think this is part of introvert. We just took that thing that kind of had introvert in it, the Myers-Briggs personality test or whatever. And part of introvert, like I really enjoy deep conversations. I don't know, maybe that's not part of introvert, but I really enjoy like deep conversations with people, so I can do like this type of thing and like really get into some interesting things. But when it comes to like small talk, to me it just doesn't make any sense. Like it's like why would we talk about the weather? Like let's just not talk, you know?
I can see that. I totally can see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I like to see how people are doing too, because people might be, fighting a battle that you're not realizing, and it could just be asking like, "Hey man, how's your day going?"
Yeah.
And I've honestly had a lot of people be like, "Honestly, it's going pretty crappy," and I'll be like, "Okay, well, what's going on?"
Let's talk.
Not that I want to be a therapist, but talking to people, I feel like goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely.
Boost morale.
For sure.
Looking good in the shirt.
Okay, so this is a good one. Tell us something interesting about yourself that more people don't know.
That I've rode a live bull once.
Oh, wow. What?
Yep. There
Why?
was well, my family kind of grew up in my brother's a cowboy, I guess I would say. Like, he has a horse farm, 20 acres, what have you. And we kind of grew up in that lifestyle. My dad had a farm. We always took care of, like, farm animals and stuff. And when I visited my brother in Arizona, they actually have a bar down there that you can sign a waiver, pay $40, and you can hop on the back of a live bull and try to ride it for 8 seconds. So said, why not? And
That's super dangerous.
yeah, so that's a crazy story if you want me to tell it.
Let's
but
hear it.
So
That's what
it was
we're here
me,
for.
one of my good friends, and this other guy that we had met that my brother kind of briefly knew. None of us had rode a bull before. Obviously, it's not like a common thing. So we all signed up to do it, and it was the kid that we didn't know super well. He rode right before me, and he fell off, and he fell kind of under the bull, and the bull stepped on him, and we, he kind of gimped away. We didn't realize, what happened. He had to end up going into an ambulance, and as he's getting in the back of the ambulance, they're like, "Travis Metzen, you're up next." I'm like, "Oh shit," Well, come to find out, he broke 3 vertebrae in his back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then I ended up riding right after that. no idea.
Is he okay today?
He made a full recovery, thankfully. He was a younger guy too, but it was, and I guess I would put into perspective, these aren't like the ones you see on TV for like the PBR, the professional bull riders. The bulls, they know they do this every week, so they buck, definitely. It's still an adrenaline rush, but they're not out there to gore you or whatever. As soon as you're off their back, they know where the gate is to get out. He just so happened to fall right underneath them, and the bull was still coming down.
Jeez.
So it's not like, the ones that you see on TV that they have to have the rodeo clowns to get them all out and stuff. These ones kind of know the routine.
Yeah, that's still crazy.
Yeah.
How long were you on it for?
Like 4 seconds or something.
Oh, 4 seconds. I thought it was going to be like 5 minutes.
No. If you can make it 8 seconds, that's a successful ride. That's
Really?
all it is 8
8
seconds.
seconds? Just on and off,
And
huh?
it sounds easy, right? It's not. It's crazy. I mean, when you get on the back of these things, they're 2,000-pound animals. Your legs can barely get around them, and they tighten your hand in with this rope, and you got a glove on, and you're like thinking, there's no way my hand's coming out. Oh, it's easy to, it's tough to make it that 8 seconds. I'll say that.
That's crazy.
And it was fun though, because like as soon as I remember, getting on there, I wore like a chest protector and a helmet and stuff like that. And there's a crowd, of whoever's at the bar, and I just remember saying, "All right, open the gates up," and that's how they, hop out. And as soon as I said that, I blacked out from the adrenaline. All I do is remember hitting the ground and getting up and running, because adrenaline is so high, thinking that like this could be it,
That's crazy.
But it was a blast. Honestly, as soon as I fell off, got to the side, I was like, should I try it again? Like, why not,
That's crazy. I don't think I'd do it.
It was fun. I would say everyone should try it once.
Really?
Like I said, just wear, obviously wear a helmet for sure. And then they have these like plate, chest protectors that should,
Oh, it's like a plate?
Yeah, it's like they when they step on it, it wouldn't crush you. It's not supposed to crush you.
I see.
So.
Did your friend get stepped on from?
I think it was like right under it because he was wearing too small of one or something like that.
And
Yeah.
it was on the back, from the back.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be tough.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And you didn't know when you
we didn't know, because he got up and like, you could tell he was hurting, but like for a guy to get up and walk over to an ambulance with a broken back it's a tough son of a bitch, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. That's crazy, dude. He's lucky he didn't get more injured.
Yeah.
Could have been easy. What's your morning routine?
Morning routine, wake up at like 6:30, jog on the treadmill for like 30 minutes before the kids wake up, take a shower, get up my son. He's usually up first, feed him breakfast, and then get to my office by 8:39 usually.
Do you have a pretty firm, like that happens every morning, or?
Yeah, it all depends, but generally yes, because realistically in our industry, there's not a lot of people that are out looking at houses before noon. You know what I mean? Most people are doing it after work or weekends or what have you. I mean, sometimes, yeah, I'll have a showing early morning, but generally it's pretty firm with that routine.
That's cool. Yeah, I've found I like asking this question just to see what everybody has a different kind of.
I know I feel like getting up. I used to sleep until 7, but then I just felt like I was missing out on being able to do something before I'd wake up at the same time as my kid woke up. You know?
Yeah.
But it's tough when you like sleep.
Yeah, but I do think that it's interesting because in the past I've always thought like, well, if you could either wake up early or stay up late, and it's the same thing, but
Sure.
it's not, because in the morning there's an optimism because the day's ahead of you, whereas at night it's more pessimism because it's like the day's behind you, the day's over with. I have to go
Sure.
to bed soon. So I started waking up earlier, and it just changes everything. I feel like having some time to yourself in the morning definitely helps.
Yeah, waking
the
up
mindset.
before the world wakes up is what I call it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I like I said, I do a lot of hunting too. So during hunting season, I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. and one of my favorite things is watching the sunrise out on the lake or in a deer blind.
Yeah. That's crazy. Hunting's crazy because you do got to wake up really early for that shit.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's probably one of my biggest passions.
Really? Where do you hunt?
Well, I deer hunt around the metro. I have a friend who lets me hunt at his place in Cannon Falls, and then I duck hunt. I'd say within like an hour of the cities. It all depends on who I'm going with. My brother, he lives a little bit further west, kind of past Minnetonka and stuff, and there seems to be a little bit more areas to hunt. Obviously, I can't hunt right in Cottage Grove or anything, but there are parts of the Mississippi River not too far from us that you can hunt, or waterfowl hunt.
Yeah.
Geese and ducks and stuff.
You ever done bow hunting?
Oh yeah, that's how I primarily hunt deer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love bow
Oh.
hunting. It's so fun, man. It's so because you have to really outsmart the animal. They have to be within 30 yards of you and not realize you're there. Get a successful shot off with a rifle. Usually, if they're a couple hundred yards away and I can see them, you could probably get them.
That's pretty crazy, bow hunting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I had another friend who did that. He went out to where was he? Montana maybe or something. And he was bow hunting God, what was it, like elk or something like that?
Probably if it's Montana. I've got one elk in my life, but it was with a firearm, not with a bow. But that was in Utah. That's if you get the opportunity, man. It's
They're bigger than deer, right?
oh man,
way
they're
bigger.
1,000 pounds at least.
Yeah.
They're huge.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe someday I'll hunt. Never done it before. My family used to. So my grandma on my dad's side, my grandma and grandpa, they have like 50 acres up in Mora,
Sure.
and so there's like a lot. That side of the family hunts a lot. I just never got into it.
Yeah, it's fun. It goes back to that adrenaline rush again. When you harvest a deer, your first deer especially, you get what's called buck fever, where you're literally shaking and it's not because you're cold. It's just adrenaline going through you.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's crazy. Yeah, that's the cycle of life, is like actually being out there.
sure.
Because I used to I thought I don't like killing animals. It's
Sure.
And then I had my friend who does bow hunting. He's like, yeah, but you eat meat. And I don't currently eat meat right now, but he was like, yeah, but you eat meat. And I'm like, yeah, but I could never kill it. And then he's like, yeah, don't you see how that's a problem? Like you'll eat the meat, but you won't kill the meat.
Sure.
And so he likes going out there and doing it because it's part of what you should do if you're going to be eating meat,
I 100% agree. I won't harvest anything that I won't eat myself, but I look at it's so much better for you. I mean, the stuff they pump into our cows and our pigs, and honestly, the way they slaughter them is just not really humane versus, one precisely put shot and that thing's out of its misery. It's, completely free range. And honestly, elk is one of the best meats you could ever eat in terms of for your health. It's super high in protein, low in fat, tons of just good stuff in it for you. Venison's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Super lean.
Yeah, super lean.
Yeah. Cool. So in the last year or so with the pandemic, what issues have you ran into?
Just kind of adapting to the new market. When obviously the pandemic first hit and there were so many unknowns, there was a lot more restrictions. Usually there was one group in a house at a time. Everyone had to mask up. I mean, we were providing gloves and sanitizers, all those things. So it kind of affected, I'd say, the sellers I mean, I guess buyers as well, but the sellers didn't get the open market as I feel like they should in such a high demand market. There's only so many people that can get in there in a 12-hour day. Usually it's only 12 groups or whatever. So it slowed things down a little bit and just kind of navigating that. They even added actually a COVID-19 addendum to our purchase agreements that you can include saying, hey, if this person gets sick with COVID, you're okay with extending, the closing date for 2 weeks or whatever to make the deal still happen.
Wow.
So
That's crazy. So yeah, and then after that initial like kind of scare or whatever, it kind of sped back up? What's it like? What about 2021? Was it pretty?
2021 was great. 2020, ironically enough, even though I know it was the pandemic, was our best year ever on the books. We closed almost 20 million in volume, which is huge. When we were jumping up, when I started, it was maybe 5-6 million a year.
Wow.
So I mean, that was a huge jump. And 2021 was just as good. I mean, we were on par with 2020. I'd like to grow that a little bit more, but I also took some time to, I had my kids, and then also training in some newer agents takes a little bit away from me focusing on selling.
Yeah.
So
did you? So when I like to think back to like when COVID first, like March, I think it was March 27th, when they first shut down. Like, did you change anything immediately in your business? Because I'm sure you panicked. There must have been some panic.
Yeah, right away it's the oh crap moment, like, because that was when they're like, okay, you might be essential, you might not. We didn't know whether or not the housing market would be deemed essential. Thankfully we were, but yeah, there was a panic for a while there. Like, what do we do? We weren't sure. But that's also why savings are important, and having kind of a rainy day fund if something like that were to happen. You can stretch it out a little bit while you figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Do you feel like you've learned some stuff, like for future, say something happens? Because I don't know, us going through it, we had some stop go where it was like we were in the same boat, except we didn't have anything that said specifically we were essential.
Sure.
Because it's like construction, but it was so unclear as to what that meant.
Right.
So we stopped for like two weeks, and then we just kept going. But I feel like we've gotten some good experience just having had to go through that with owning a business.
Yeah, hardships definitely teach you, as a business owner, or even dramatic changes will always bring some lessons, That's how I look at it.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I asked, what is the worst thing that has happened at work, and how do you handle it?
I mean, I deal with some difficult things because, like I said, you're dealing with people's livelihoods. So, if a closing gets delayed or there's some issue with the financing or something like that, that can be stressful. But I'd say probably the worst thing I've dealt with is one time I was showing a house, and there was a dog in the backyard. My client, I don't remember if she reached her hand over or whatnot, but long story short, she got bit by the dog while we were out showing a house, which is, obviously scary. You want to make sure that she's okay. I also had one gal fall down a flight of stairs in front of me.
Gosh.
Luckily, she was younger, and she was okay, thankfully. But it was, at first, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, wow.
Did she buy the house is the question.
Not that one. I will say it was definitely an embarrassing moment because, we were upstairs, and this was pre-coronavirus, so there was a lot of showings at one time, and she'd fallen down the stairs, and right at the bottom of the stairs was another group of people that were showing the house. So that's pretty embarrassing, Shout out, you know who you are. I won't put you on blast.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So basically just injuries.
Injuries, I would say, yeah.
Stressful. What about the person who got their hand bit by the dog?
She was okay, thankfully.
Was it bad though?
It had blood. There was some blood.
What kind of dog was it? I'm trying to picture this.
Honestly, I don't remember. This was
a
over
small dog
5
or
years
big dog?
ago. It was a smaller dog.
Small dog. Yeah, those things are.
Those are always the
sometimes.
biters.
Yeah, I've had that happen at a customer house. This dog came over and was just gnawing on my ankle. I'm like, get your dog off. What are you doing? Like the customer's just standing there, laughing. I'm like, this is not funny.
Yeah. I'm not finding this funny at all.
Yeah, it's funny. Okay. We have 2 left in here. We'll get through all of them, actually. Yeah. Okay. What is the hardest thing? It's similar. What is the hardest thing you've had to overcome in your life?
In my life?
Yeah, just like,
Not real estate related?
It doesn't have to be, no. It can be.
Probably addiction. A lot of people don't know this, but I had got clean 8 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
So I wasn't like, I was still kind of a kid, I guess is how I look at it. But that literally changed the whole direction of my life.
And did that happen like almost as you were taking over the business, a little bit after?
It was actually before. So I wasn't really involved in the business at that point because I didn't have my priorities straight. So yeah, I was maybe a year into the business or two. But yeah, I went to a treatment center and haven't drank. I've been sober since. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
What treatment center did you go to?
I don't even know if they're still around. It was actually called the Treatment Center. It was in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh, okay, one of those.
Yep. Yeah, it was. It changed my life, but I mean, it might not have worked for others. But I think it was important. I was definitely gonna lose a lot,
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sober too. I've been sober for like 12 years, and
Congrats.
I think when you go from drinking to not drinking, it's like the clarity you have in life, and like being able to wake up and know that, like, I mean, it's just like there's so many question marks when you're drinking. It's like you wake up and it's like anything could be in front of you. And you're dealing with any sort of problem that came from the night before. So like, there's obviously a ton of benefits of being sober, but like one that was just kind of I didn't expect was just like the like life can build.
Oh, it just gets
like
better,
reset.
man. I know it sounds corny and stuff, but literally, like, I enjoy waking up every day and looking forward to what life's going to bring me. And it's weird because my industry, there's a lot of social happy hours, and I'm sure you deal with it too, that there's that weird, like, almost stigma when you don't drink. If someone offers you a beer and you're like, nah, I'm good, I don't drink. People are like, wait, what? Like, they're throwing off, like, you don't want to drink this poison right now? Come on, we'll feel a little good for a little bit. And I'm like, no, man, do your thing, enjoy it. Like, I have no judgment. I mean, people live their lives. I'm all about, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, it just was a bad recipe. So I just, I don't know, haven't done any of that since. So.
Yeah, it's funny because I went through all of like basically my whole music career, like hanging out with Nate, going to all the shows, like being on stage and stuff, going to parties and stuff. I was sober the whole time, and it was kind of crazy because going to parties and people are like, oh, you don't drink? After a while, they got, they stopped offering me.
Sure.
But it is interesting how people want, it's almost like misery loves company. Like they're like, oh, they kind of feel bad all of a sudden. They're like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Should I be drinking?
Yeah, and I'm always like, go ahead, do your thing, but I'm good, and it's just weird because I get so many people that are like, oh, let's go to happy hour, like I said, in our industry, a lot of networking's done, I guess, at the bar, and I miss out on all that, realistically, but I'm okay with it,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you can be more productive. It's just interesting how life builds. Like you said, I'm the same way. Where like when I first got sober, obviously the feeling is like, oh, I'm never gonna have fun again in my life. That's what at least for me, it was like, I associate all my fun with drinking.
Sure.
And then when I got sober, it was like, it's just crazy how much you can get from life. You know, in general.
You find joys in the things that you should find joy in.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's really cool. Let's see. We got 2 left. Ooh, I like this one. If money was out of the picture, what would you spend your time doing?
I would spend my time outside, outdoors. If money wasn't an issue, ideally I'd have just land to hunt and fish and not have to worry about anything, That's paradise to me.
Where would you live? Minnesota?
Probably Alaska, realistically.
Oh, cool.
I think they just have the best of everything up there. Myself. I mean, I know they get some long winters and stuff, but...
Long nights and long
days. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and that depends on how far up there you get, But they get some long days and whatnot. But just we have some family up there, and they'll go moose hunting or grizzly bear hunting or go catch salmon or halibut, and the pictures they send you, it's just mountains and beautiful. I've never been, so I guess I want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that would be a good place for me.
Yeah, I have a friend who's gone a couple times, and it definitely is. I've never thought of going, but it's like wildlife heaven out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip the script on you. Where would you go if money
what would
you do if money was no issue?
Thank you for that. Okay, let me think here. I've thought about this a lot actually. I would probably be doing a similar thing. I don't know that I'd be necessarily doing painting, but like if money was an issue, I love creating. I love building things. I really do love business, like the idea of commerce, and it's not really about money at the end of the day. it's such a tough question because like I would love to do because I've kind of dichotomy. Like I kind of like the idea of getting completely off grid and just having no responsibility and not having to answer to anybody or but I really do love creating, and I feel like without something that's a creative outlet, I kind of would wash away.
Sure.
So I've thought about it a lot, and it's just an interesting question. That's why I like asking it.
It is, yeah.
Because it's a lot of people focus on money, and then they forget kind of who they are.
Sure, that's
And,
their
like,
driving force for sure. Like I definitely enjoy my job, but there's definitely some days that are stressful. That if I didn't need to feed my family, I'd be okay with not closing the deal.
Yeah. Yeah. This is kind of the exact opposite. But what keeps you up at night?
Honestly, I sleep pretty good, man. I usually am in bed by
So
like
nothing.
9 o'clock. My wife hates it. I don't know. There are some times where it's always worrying about. For me, it's really worrying about clients and then my agents. Like I want to make sure that they're being treated right. How can I help them grow their business? Where can I get them some more leads? Which is I feel like every business owner's struggle is they're worrying about not just what's currently at hand, but how can we grow and keep producing? Where's that next deal going to come from?
Yeah. It's interesting. You end up becoming kind of I don't know what that was. You end up becoming like responsible for a lot of people.
Sure.
And then that can get stressful because it's like them and their family counts on you to keep doing what you're doing.
Right. They got a lot of trust in you.
Yeah.
If you're paying them,
Yeah.
they're trusting that you're going to take care of them essentially.
Yeah. Cool. That's the last one of there, but I have this last one here. VR. Let's get into some VR topics
Okay.
here. So what do you know about the metaverse?
Very little. So I just picked up an Oculus. I'm
I
sure
thought,
Bo told
yes.
you or
This
Nate.
is Bo's question.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know much, but honestly, that's something that Nate and I have talked a lot about wanting to learn more about, like that virtual real estate. And that's I don't know if you necessarily need an agent because I don't have to go out and show you this house, but still realistically you need someone to help navigate it. So if we can understand the process that goes behind the buying or the selling of it, we could help people do that. I think would be pretty cool.
And then you're talking about having using the VR to be able to demo or look at houses.
Well, they have stuff like that, but I mean they actually have parcels in the metaverse for
Yeah,
sale.
I know that. I know that's extremely weird and interesting at the same time.
Very strange to me because the one thing of real estate is they can't produce more, but in the metaverse they can just keep.
Yeah.
There is no end essentially.
But the way I look at it is whoever's metaverse ends up being the mainstream one, there is going to be. I mean, they can obviously produce more if they wanted to. Oh, we just found a new island.
Right. You know what I mean? We just added another 50,000 houses to the metaverse or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What have you done with your VR?
Played mini golf a couple times. We've done. They have I'm blanking on the name of the app, but it's essentially like a conference room that you can meet, you can chat, workspace. Yep.
Have you guys done that?
I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Nate and I were messing around with it. He showed me you can literally show PowerPoints.
Yeah,
everything.
but let me ask this because I've seen. Do you know Brady?
Yeah.
So I saw Brady post something and it looked like a conference room and he was trying to draw on a whiteboard, but it looked so clunky. How you can't really is it just as good as being in person?
I don't know.
Would it be better to just share screens on Zoom?
I would say no. I'm more of a actual person interaction, but I could see how it could appeal to some people. People just love their VR, their next new big thing. But it is easily navigated. I mean, there's
a whiteboard, right?
There's tons of different. You can meet a conference room and a classroom, for a college classroom. There's tons of different meeting areas, I should say, and you could literally go to a website, pull that website up, and it would be on behind me, on the whiteboard.
While you're talking.
Yeah, while I'm talking, you can click through it or what have you.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you get any motion sickness while you're using it?
I do. Honestly, the first couple times I played, I took it off and I got really dizzy, surprisingly. You kind of get used to it, I guess.
Yeah. So that's my biggest concern. I'm thinking about getting an Oculus. My brother has one.
You should.
I've used the PlayStation. I got the PlayStation one when it first came out.
Sure.
And that thing made me so sick, and so I gave it away. And then My brother got the Oculus, and I tried it. I was playing Resident Evil, which is just crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's got to be intense.
Like you're stabbing zombies' heads,
Right.
As if you're literally right there stabbing their head. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy, but like it's as you walk, you start to get really dizzy.
Sure.
It was gross. I took it off, and like the rest of my night was ruined essentially.
Sure.
Just, like,
And I
feeling
got
sick.
that feeling the first couple times I played it. Not so much with like the golf games, but there's like that. God, what is it? Final one or something like that. It's like a BR game. Population one, I think is what it's called. And that one got me pretty dizzy because there's a lot of walking. Like you literally have to like load the firearm and like. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. But the conference room doesn't make you dizzy
No, not really.
because you're just sitting there.
Yeah. And I guess I'm not always like turning around. You know, I'm just more focused on whoever's talking.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to think of like what you've gotten into, like the metaverse. Do you know anything about it?
No,
Are you and Nate looking into it at all?
we haven't actively been looking into it a lot because we both just have been kind of busy the past few weeks, but we want to get back into it. I want to learn more about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm curious. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with as far as like selling the parcels, but
Right.
once it has like real life utility where you can actually like go in the VR and be there, which I don't think right now, and unless you know something I don't know, I don't think you can actually do that.
I haven't paid attention to it for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an untapped market.
Yeah, I mean
know?
it's definitely on the front side of like the innovation curve or whatever, where it's like the early adapters are currently getting into it. It hasn't hit mass market yet.
Right.
So it'll be interesting, yeah. So I left that one for last because I'm curious as to kind of what your take is on it, but you haven't really.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it. I can't sit here and tell you I do. I mainly play, like I said, mini golf and actual golf with my VR and stuff.
Yeah. I'll join it here. I'll join it within
It's
the next
fun.
6 months probably. I'll be playing mini golf with you guys.
It's fun.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's the end of the show. But before we do the end, I want you to leave them with something. So like aspiring real estate agents, like what would you tell them? One last thing.
Aspiring
hurrah.
real estate agents, I would.
Yeah, or just people looking to better their life, whatever you got for them.
Don't worry about what other people think you should be doing, I guess, is what I would say. Real estate agents, don't give up. It's tough. There's a reason that like 85% of agents don't make it past their first 2 years because it's a tough industry to get into, but it can be very rewarding for sure.
Perfect, short and sweet. Let's rate this.
All
So
right.
we're gonna rate it by cups.
Cups.
I give this. I give it a solid 6
Out of 10,
out of 10. Yeah.
probably give it like a 4.
That makes sense. So next time we have them on, we're gonna have to give them something a little better.
Sure. Sounds good,
All right.
man. Thanks.
There we go. Yeah, thanks for being on.